Hello everyone, this is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full-time. I've been doing this with my fiance Nana for more than 3 years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we're shipping out today on Thursday. So finally had like a good week of November so far. So it's been pretty solid. So we're just going to jump right into it. So the first thing, we also had a lot of non-nerd stuff selling, like a lot of home goods and stuff. It's been a while since that stuff sold. There's like some estate sale stuff I have in boxes and stuff I just haven't touched in a while because it wasn't selling. So maybe finally someone will be picking up some of this stuff. All right, we got this like a decorative. This is going to be like a Polish dancer on an alpaca. I'm not too sure what like the cultural significance of this is. That's a mouthful. But yeah, we'll find these cool designed little tchotchkes on desks and stuff at estate sales. And if they look like unique and, you know, vibrant colors or just something cool about it, we'll pick it up. This ended up going for $17.60 plus shipping. So that's like kind of like one of the non-nerd things I'm talking about. Speaking of non-nerdy, we have this right here. This is like a little stress toy. These are going to be things that like you can clip them in and out, and then you can also move them around before like fidget spinners. So yeah, someone picked this up. I have a really cool like first picture for it. So yeah, someone's going to use this one maybe as like a little gift. $7.99. All right, next up, more home goods stuff. Where is it? So these, you can't really see them. They kind of sold for less than what we would normally get during 2020 and 2021 and 2022. Aneta would find a lot of these napkin ring holders and baggies and stuff at estate sales, yard sales, also thrift stores. And she would get like the unique ones. These are going to be like wooden ones that are painted little turkeys, like someone took the time to paint them. They look pretty good quality. People use these for holding napkins at dinner table setup. So obviously Thanksgiving's coming up, so that's probably why they picked this up. This set only sold for $9, but we've sold sets for like 20, 30, 40, 50 before, depending on like the quality. So we must have had that for a while, and Aneta will send out like blank offers on all the stuff that people are watching. Not a big deal. We're probably still good on that. We usually pay like 50 cents or $1 for them. All right. But it's been a long time. That's an old listing. A lot of old listings here. Not this one, though. This one's a new one. This is going to be actually a nerdy thing. This is going to be Incomplete Star Trek Frontiers, The Return of Khan. So Star Trek Frontiers is going to be a board game that I was aware of existed, but I didn't realize that it was similar to another game by Vlad Schwatel. It's going to be similar to the Mage Knight system, which is a fantasy world. It's going to be like this game based off of hexes. You'll have a character. There's usually some kind of like end goal, like in the Mage Knight, you have castles to defeat. So in this one, I'm sure there's something to defeat. But yeah, this is going to be incomplete expansion. The expansion complete's pretty expensive. I think it's like 100 to 150, depends on, you know, whenever like a buyer or seller is lucky. You know how like some of those items are where the price is just variant depending on like when someone wants it and who's offering it at what price. But yeah, a lot of stuff. I think it's just missing like a couple of the miniatures, I think, and then maybe a couple of the cards. So there's still a lot with this, and obviously the box. This sold for $45. Like I said, this is an expansion to the Star Trek Frontiers. But yeah, when I was going through that, I was kind of shocked. I was like, oh, I didn't know that this was a re-implementation of the Mage Knight game. All right, that's one of my favorite board games ever. Next up is going to be One Little Piece. I have to find it here. So this is going to be a Transformer piece. This is for like, I got a bunch of loose Transformer and some mask toy and was it G.I. Joe? Some other stuff. My brother had gotten like a big collection many years ago. He transitioned into cards, so he stopped, you know, getting the supplies to ship out like toys and bits and pieces and like that. So he just gave me the rest of the scraps that he had. He already made a bunch of money from like the actual complete Transformers and all the mask toys and stuff like that, the micro machines and stuff. So this is just a door to one of them. I think it's G1 Transformer Autobot Prowl left door, just like a singular door piece sold for $7.99. People pick up the pieces because if they go missing, their whole thing is kind of incomplete. So like people keeping an eye out for accessories and stuff so they can fix theirs and have a complete one. All right, moving along, we have this. This is going to be April, October 1968, like a resort pamphlet brochure right here. We get a bunch of these, or we used to get a bunch of these. We sell at good amounts. We were selling a lot more before we were recording on YouTube, but I like doing this type of paper ephemera. It's a lot of fun. It's very easy to list and to also store. You can get prices all over the place. This one was just for $5, but people like to like go through these things and collect them. All right, next up is going to be CM, which is Chariot Miniatures. This is going to be 5 metal miniatures. These are one out of, I think it's like, they're 15 millimeter. I don't know what scale that is. I want to say that's like maybe 1 out of 72 or slightly smaller than that. So it's going to be cavalry with pikes and then also some bows right here. So I got a bunch of these Chariot miniatures. I think it was like a company from like the 80s or 90s. This one was not with its like original paper packet that would tell you what, like, ID it was, but they were in the same bag in the same collection, so it was easy to assume that they also look similar. So $19.99. They do look like cool cavalry metal miniatures. All right, moving along, we have French Grenadiers of the Imperial Guard. These are going to be these miniatures right here, also unpainted. This was also in a baggie that I listed recently. A lot of them had sold. I think it was with a bunch of like World War II stuff. It was with Napoleonic stuff. It was with Civil War stuff. Yeah, most of it's been going. So I've been focusing on listing miniatures. And this went for $35 for this pack of 83. All right, moving along, we have Q Workshop D6 dice right here. I put Kingsburg, so I'm not too sure. Maybe that was just the set type or for a board game. Q Workshop, I don't think they're around anymore, but they would make these dice that kind of had like kind of sharper edges, and they would kind of have like indents or like more detailed engravings. They'd be known to look like relics or runes, runic dice type like that. So this is just red, blue, yellow, and black and white right here. So yeah, there's also sorts on edge. They would make them for different games. I know they did some for War Machine. They were just like a huge dice company. Like I said, I don't know where they stand now, but a lot of people like them. I never liked them that much personally because it was too much detail on the dice. I want it to be more clear when you roll the dice, but a lot of people like how they are, and they lasted for a long time. $26.39 for the Q Workshop dice. It really depends on like what game they go to for how much they sell for. They also had like, depends on how much supply of a specific dice type that they had. All right, moving along. Very old listing. This is going to be another home good. We used to get a bunch of different like baskets and stuff from like storage unit flippers. Oh, I almost got my finger stuck. That was going to hurt if I twisted it the wrong way. So this one's just like a duck one, just 2 ducks. Pretty well done, like a wooden one. This one only sold for $6, but we sold a lot of different type of baskets and stuff for more. So these are just like the scraps of some of the stuff, like this one. And what was the other cheap sale that we had, like the scrap of the pamphlets and stuff like that. So things that we sold a lot more way before we were recording. All right, moving along, we have this Zitterdes, Create Your Own Adventures. This is going to be some kind of like wagon wheel carts metal miniature right here. I had 2 of these, so I already relisted one when I was at the storage unit. This one sold for $8.99. It just looks like it's going to be some kind of like terrain piece. I'm not too sure about this company, but yeah, you can probably, use it for a little RPG. You want a little broken down wagon for your players and stuff like that. All right. Moving along, this was like a costume little piece. This is going to be a badge right here. Got a bunch of these Legends of the Wild West. I think this was just like a generic badge costume thing. There was like 6 different types. At some point, I had like 14 or 18 of these. Listed them for relatively cheap. This one sold for $8.64. So yeah, that's fine. Someone's going to use that one says Marshall on it with the star. So yeah, Halloween's already gone though. So I still sell them randomly throughout the year. I don't think I sold any last month for Halloween. Or last year. I don't have too many of them left. I think I have like maybe 1 badge left. All right. Next up is going to be these vintage, a lot of 51 various different wooden checker pieces. There's like the beige, there's black, there's red, some different sizes, some with different crown designs for when you flip over to the king. But yeah, this one, I remember getting this baggie of this, and later on I regretted it. I was like, oh, why did I get that baggie of like bits and pieces? They weren't as exciting, but it was like $1 or $2. And then there was also other stuff in that baggie. So happy now, this ended up selling for $12. So it was pretty easy to list. I just had to like show how many of each type of checker there was. All right. Next up is just going to be this D20 system for Dungeons & Dragons Penumbra. In the Belly of the Beast, this is going to be a Dungeons & Dragons adventure. Like I said, it uses the D20 system. I'll get a bunch of these small little booklets. I think I've had a couple of this one before. I might have some extra. I have to look at the storage unit to see if I can relist it. This one only sold for $6, but people like to run through individual adventures that people have created and sold. Moving up, next up, this is going to be a Gloomhaven character. So if you happen to not want to get spoiled on the game, there are kind of like deep spoils in the game. I'm just rambling right now to make sure you can pause it for the next like minute or so. But yeah, there's going to be Gloomhaven's going to be a fantasy game by Cephalo Fair Games. You start with 6 characters unlocked, and then everyone will get these retirement goals and quests that when you complete them, you get a new character, and it tells you on the bottom of the card what character you get. They'll have these symbols so you know like what generically it's going to kind of be. This is the Beast Tyrant, which is a Vermling, which is like a rat character, and they control this bear, like a war bear. This one was super fun, and I liked playing this character as well. And then when I eventually used it It was a lot of fun. So it was fun controlling the bear around. This is going international for $9. This is all like the components in there. The only thing that's missing is the miniature. I got a bunch of Gloomhaven stuff, like incomplete Gloomhavens at some point. I broke down all the stuff, and I had some with the character miniatures and some where someone must have kept the miniatures, so they didn't have any miniatures. But you can still use whatever sub and miniature you have. You still, like, the main part is the cards and the character board. So $9. I think they paid a lot for international shipping, so they really want that character. All right. Last up for the day, which I don't know too much about this, but these are going to be Star Wars X-Wing acrylic promo tokens. And the only thing I don't know is I've played X-Wing a couple times many, many years ago. I don't remember what this particular symbol, it looks like a coin and it looks almost like a 4, but I don't remember there being credits in Star Wars X-Wing. So maybe it was something that was added to like a campaign, or maybe some specific cards have like credit resources. But yeah, Fantasy Flight Games would do a lot of these promotional kits where you would have to go to store tournaments to get either a participation prize, or, you know, top 3 will get specific prizes. They would do it for like Netrunner, X-Wing, almost all their games. They did for Keyforge. So yeah, these are just, they came in a promo kits. This sold for $15.99. I had another set of these, so I went ahead and relisted it. All right, that's everything. A lot of interesting stuff, at least for me, that sold today. Just like a good array of stuff. I think it still adds up into a good amount because of the expensive dice, and then the Star Trek Frontiers, the Return of the Khan incomplete expansion. But it was cool to see some of this older stuff for us to sell. Frees up some space. I've been listening to a lot of random stuff. All right. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to help support us, take a look at our links down below. Have a good one. Ooh, you you scared me. You scared me. I didn't know you were there. Oh, you got me. Oh, I hit my elbow.